Reawakening. Short dreams can be important dreams, especially when they touch on critical issues you're experiencing in your daily life. In this month's episode of Reawakening, our trusty dream interpreter Yvonne Ryba analyzes a client's dream about a miscarriage. The dreamer, a newlywed woman who's working 6 days a week in her real life to expand her business, unfortunately at the expense of having intimacy with her husband. I'm your host, Chris Mann. Join me as I welcome Yvonne once more to get to the heart and soul of another rousing message from the sleeping subconscious. Hi there, Yvonne. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Chris. I'm hot, though. It's 93, but with the heat index, it's near to 100. I've got the air conditioning going, so I'm cooling off pretty good.
Thank God. Well, you got anything else for us in your archives, or one of your clients have a dream for you?
Yes. This is a very recent dream, and I just actually collected it today. And the dreamer had it yesterday and was dying to tell me because she wanted to know what it meant.
Hot off the press.
It's a weird dream. And I said, they're all weird.
Yeah, aren't they?
They seem weird because they're from our subconscious, and we know our subconscious doesn't speak in language, it uses symbols.
Right.
And it's very visual, so it shows us pictures, and that's how we see it, and we think, what the heck does that mean? Mm-hmm. So here's what the dream was.
Perfect.
So now, first of all, let me tell you that the dreamer is a young married woman. She's 23. Her husband's about the same age. They knew each other from high school. They've been going together for like 6 years, and they got married about a year ago.
Oh, great.
Yes. So they've known each other a long time. And they, as far as I know, she gets on well with his family, because I know the family. And she started her own business recently, a beauty shop, and doing well, putting a lot of effort into it, and she's going to expand it in the next month. So a lot of her energy is going out into that. So
Sure.
Here's her dream.
Okay.
She dreamt she was in bed, and she woke up, and her husband left her. And he said he was leaving because they weren't being intimate enough, is how she put it. And that it was her fault. And then she woke up in the dream. So she kind of dreamt all this in a dream, and she woke up in the dream.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those are weird.
And to get out of bed, and then she stood up and she realized that she was having a miscarriage. And she hadn't felt that, but she realized something was going on, and she actually pulled the baby out.
Wow.
And I asked her, was the baby full grown? And she said, no, it wasn't. She said it was probably in its second trimester. It wasn't fully formed. It was getting there.
Mm-hmm.
And then she woke up, and that was the end of her dream. So it was short and not so sweet.
Right.
But it was a very important dream.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Absolutely. So we talked. And so I said to her, well, are you having a conflict of some kind with your husband? And although in the dream it said not enough intimacy, I said it may not be about sex. It could be that you're having a conflict about something like how you want to do the kitchen, or decorate the bedroom or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave her a kind of an out. I wanted to see what she would say.
Right.
And she said no. She said that's what it is.
Okay.
So this dream was kind of fairly literal in that sense.
Yes.
And let's look at that, because the bed, that's your first clue, all right, that this is an important dream.
Mm-hmm.
Beds are the bridge between the conscious and the subconscious, and I've talked about beds before in our conversations. And Betty Bethard says in her book, when I find it, that it says beds play important roles in our lives. And, of course, there are many different ways that it plays important roles. She said rest, relaxation, rejuvenation, sexual intimacy is one, and so on and so on. There are others. So when you dream and you're in a bed and you're actually dreaming, it's like the subconscious is saying, now this is very important. I'm trying to get through to you. I'm trying to bridge between the subconscious and the conscious mind, and I want you to pay attention to it, all right? And then what he said, I'm leaving you because we're not getting enough sex, we're not intimate enough. After all, the 1 year married and they're both early 20s.
Right.
I think they would be having a pretty healthy sex life.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to her, well, what is this? Do you not want to have it or what? She says, I'm too tired. which of course is to do with her building up her business.
Sure.
That's an exciting thing, you see. Here's a young woman who is being successful in her own business, and people are coming, and she's working 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
She's about to expand into a bigger place. So, this is taking all her energy and so on, but this isn't cutting it with her husband. So then, in the dream, let's go back to it. So she wakes up, and she gets out of bed thinking about what's happened, what he said, and realizes that something is happening to her body and that this is a miscarriage, and she actually pulls out the baby.
Right, she does herself.
She does it to herself, yeah. Now, miscarriages, they're kind of in the same class as an abortion. It's not quite the same because miscarriage is more normal. The natural state of things. The body says, hey, this isn't working out. We're going to have to start again.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of women found this, and it's one of those things. An abortion, it's really much more negative because you are in charge of it, but the miscarriage, I don't think she wasn't in charge of it. You see, it just seemed to be happening. Mm-hmm. And Betty Bethard says in her book about miscarriage, I'll just read that little bit to you. I think Betty Bethard was fantastic. Miscarriage, deciding not to go ahead with a plan, idea, or program. Aborting or releasing it because it is not the best way. Also, destroying a new aspect of self coming into being. So here we have a bit of a conflict because what does this mean? To make more time for her husband, she may have to give up some of the time building up her business.
I see.
And that's her goal and her aim at the moment. She's very ambitious and she's really doing well.
Uh-huh.
Success fuels you, and how many marriages have hit the rocks when one partner is soared ahead and the other partner is just plodding along, doing their thing.
Sure.
Not hitting the highlights, as it were.
Uh-huh.
So the baby not being completely formed but having to be let go. I said, you've got to let go of something here, obviously. Something that's not fully grown yet has to be got rid of. Some ideas have to be let go. You're going to have to make time for your marriage. A little bit at the expense of your other stuff, but you know what? That's okay. It doesn't have to be done every time, but you need a weekend away, and the both of you need to take a day off and go and have a long weekend.
So not necessarily get rid of the business, get rid of her professional plans completely, but scaling back a bit and finding a bit more balance?
Yes. And
okay.
At 23, most of us are pretty energetic.
Right, I remember those days.
Yeah, and especially men, when they just got married, I can imagine that this is a dangerous situation, and she has to pay attention to it.
Right.
Because, he says in the dream, I'm leaving you. That's her subconscious picking up on the danger signals that could be happening.
Right.
But he voiced to her in real life that he's not happy. Mm-hmm. So something has to be done, and it's up to her to come up with some plan to make this happen.
Because in the dream, she was an active participant in taking the baby out. That indicated that it was really up to her to make things work?
Yes. And the baby doesn't mean the end of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's the new life didn't get a chance to be fully brought into being. You can always start again. And I'm not saying she has to give up her job. I don't see that. I think it means we have to rearrange the schedule. We have to make time here. We have to pay attention, or we're going to lose this marriage. And the marriage is also the miscarriage.
I see.
Marriage is going down the tubes too.
Right.
And a young fellow of 23, if his marriage is not working out for him, he's not going to hang around for a long time. He's a very active guy and works hard and is looking for a solid relationship like his mom and dad have got, and I know them all. So there you go.
And because the miscarriage happened during what appeared to be like the second trimester, that would indicate, too, that, look, this is pretty urgent. You've got to take care of this now. Yes,
exactly.
This is something that's been going along for a while, but you need to find a solution, or this thing's going to, sort of miscarry soon, whether it was the marriage or something else.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's all about communication, too.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, well, I'm too tired, it's not enough.
Right.
We have to say, well, I'm tired now. Let's make a plan to take some time off together and go and have a weekend somewhere.
Sure.
not just stay at home, because when you stay at home, you're going to work. You can do something.
Right,
People
get away.
will come and want you to do things, and go away and have a little honeymoon type thing.
Mm-hmm.
You need to bring some of the romance back into your life.
Sure.
But this is a very short dream, but very intense.
Yeah, very
And
intense.
with some very powerful imagery that is very straightforward in its meaning. I mean, there's
It
no
sure is.
oh, obviously, it's not a big deal. No, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Some literal, some symbolic aspects to the dream, but I think you put it together well. So her reaction to your interpretation was she got it, right?
Yes, she did.
Perfect.
I think she needed confirmation. She knew it was important. She wasn't quite sure, but it worked out. Yeah, it was good.
Fantastic.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so. My God, certainly a disturbing dream, like you said, powerful. So when you wake up, take note of that and call Yvonne and you say, Yvonne, what does this mean? If you listeners have a dream that you would like Yvonne to interpret, email me at risingactionmedia@gmail.com. Email Chris. I'll forward it to Yvonne, and we'll look at it in a future show.
Very good.
Terrific. Well, it's always great to reconnect with you, Yvonne, and you stay cool out there in Texas and dry.
Yes, it's thunderstorms pretty much every day, too. Oh.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Well, you take care, Yvonne, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Chris. Bye.
Reawakening with Chris Mann and Yvonne Ryba is a Rising Action Media production. Copyright 2016 by Chris Mann.